A city which at its lowest lies 6 meters below sea level has for centuries had to work out how to keep the people dry. If you didn't know how they do it nowadays, you wouldn't even notice. The wall at the end of the bridge is actually a levee against flooding. The road raised above the level of the houses to keep the water from the other side. These spaces are used as basketball courts and open-air theatres, but they're also huge basins to capture rainwater. The thing they figured out is how to make flood defences work for cities.
We must add quality to the city, and that can be done in an integrated way. So you can choose for a concrete wall, but you also can choose for a landscape in the shape of a levee with a cycle lane on top of it, and that's adding quality, but it's also creating more flexibility.
The Netherlands was forced to address its geographic weakness in 1953 when a huge storm pushed the North Sea inland. Nearly 2,000 people died. They realised they had to do something enormous to protect the entire Dutch seaboard. This giant barrier is the first line of defence for Rotterdam.
It took the Dutch a full 40 years after the Great Flood of 1953 to complete the infrastructure necessary to keep the North Sea out of the Netherlands and, of course, upriver in Rotterdam. Every day, similar projects are going on. Of course, it's all underpinned by a belief that you have to work with the water rather than against it, and, of course, the political will to make it happen.
Upstream in Rotterdam, the Chinese are visiting, being shown a pretty open space that's actually a flood basin. They're impressed and want to copy it.
It's carefully designed. We could use some of it in China. We have already implemented some, and we are hoping to work with the Netherlands much more.
They aren't the only ones. At the Amsterdam Water Conference, 30 global mayors are listening to the mayor of Rotterdam tell them spending on prevention is far cheaper than having to evacuate their cities.
But if you do the math and you see the amount of money that you pay in the aftermath to repair the damage, there will be, I think, more money than we spend at prevention, building a resilient system of water defense.
In a year when Houston found itself underwater and the US president disavowed the Paris Climate Accord, the overarching message is this: even if you don't believe in climate change, think of flood defense as a business opportunity.
The moment we deny, we will die. But the moment we embrace the opportunities also climate change brings us, then we can see the added value for our environment, our people, but also the economy.
For many people, the evidence of 2017 is that the terrifying prospect of the sea taking over is beginning to come true. The better news is that the Dutch have figured out at least some of the answers, and very many others are listening. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera, Rotterdam.